Today on Traveling Young,
we're going to look at digital healthcare in Denmark. We're the Youngs.
We've spent our lives traveling the world.
And in 2018, we moved from
Chicago, Illinois to
Copenhagen, Denmark.
Now we want to share with you
how our new lives abroad
is keeping us young.
keeping us young.
Are helping to keep us young. Hello, welcome back to Traveling Young. We're on this digitalization kick right now, examining different digital parts of living in Denmark. We did an NemID video.
Yeah.
We did another one where we talked about eBoks, Betalingsservice, and MobilePay. This time we're going to talk about health, digital health, which is definitely different than what it is in the US.
Yeah, and for us, one of the biggest changes was one of the first things that we got when we arrived here was our yellow card, and that's your health card. And everybody we call it the yellow card because it's like a little white card, but it has a big yellow strip on it where it has all of your personal information. It has things like your CPR number, and it tells you who your doctor is. And when we first moved here, we just got assigned a doctor by the Ministry of Health, and it was one that was close to our house. But when we moved later, we were able to actually go and select our doctor. You could do that at any time, but we just waited until we moved again. But that was pretty different to just kind of have a situation where it's like, here's your doctor, you know?
Well, if you do it at any time, there is a cost. If you do it just randomly, you have to pay. But we moved to a different commune or a different community. And we had to, when we registered our new address into the national system of registry, we had the option to change doctors and so that was like the perfect time. And then we actually did a little research and we found a doctor that had, both a man and a woman in the practice, that spoke English well, that had online booking so we can actually book our appointments online, things that we didn't really have at the first doctor that was assigned to us. So we took that as the chance to go ahead and switch. And if you do it within moving, you have to change your yellow card anyway because your address changes. So it's like the perfect time to do it. And it was pretty easy even to go through that. We'd been here 2 years already. So we understood enough to know how to research and find somebody. And that went well. And so the yellow card is critical because it's basically your key to everything.
Anything health-wise, they're like, let
anything.
me see your yellow card. Every time we go get a test, we have to present our yellow card and things like that.
So one of the things I had to do, we didn't mention this yet actually, but the intention of this video is not to discuss the quality of healthcare.
No.
So I'm sure people will comment on that regardless because people do anyway. But it's more about the digital nature of it.
Yeah.
Although I will say that we've all had some experience and none of it's been bad. And so one of my experiences, I had to go because I'm getting to be an old man. And I guess it's not something people talk about, but I'll say it. I had to have a colonoscopy. And I also had a endoscopy, which went down my throat, which was like at the same time, well, not the exact same moment, but the same day. And it was just kind of like, I don't know, on one hand, good to wrap it all in one package and get it done. Also was a very unpleasant day. But I went to my doctor. That is on my yellow card. I talked to him. He did a referral. He put it in the system. He gave me some local names of who to call that could do the procedure. I called him. Super easy. They had all the information because I was in the system already saying that I had a referral for this. And I got a schedule within 2 weeks. In fact, I wanted it to be like a year later because I was not looking forward to this. But I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do it in 2 weeks. And it was funny. I called them and I said, okay, can we do the colonoscopy one day and this? And they're like, no, you can do it together on the same day. And I'm like,
that sounds great.
Is this like the worst day that somebody could possibly have? But I did that super easy. I went in, had the procedure. It was kind of funny because the doctor actually studied in the U.S., not very far from where I grew up. And was so excited to be able to speak English because he rarely speaks English to people. And he was very excited to test his English.
We were apologizing. He was like, no, this is great.
But it was all like he knew we were coming. It was all in the system because of the yellow card and our CPR number. And then afterwards, I was prescribed some medicine. And right across the street from where his office was a pharmacy. I walked across the street within the couple minutes it took me to get there. I gave them my yellow card. They immediately had the prescription and it was there and I was able to get it. And compared to the US, where I have also had a colonoscopy, I had to go to a doctor. I had to get a bunch of paperwork. I had to check with my insurance company.
Pre-authorizations.
I had to, then go to a different doctor to schedule the time with him because I was referred to the actual specialist. And then I had to take a bunch of paperwork there for that. Had to deal with the insurance company afterwards, had to pay something. The prescription is given on like a piece of, it's like,
a little piece of paper.
It might as well be like carved into a piece of stone, a piece of paper. And typically the pharmacy has to call the doctor that's printed on to make sure they read it right because they can barely read what people write on it. It's such a strange system. And there's so many spots where things could go wrong. Yeah. Or where things could, be fraudulent. People, putting different things on the prescription and getting different drugs or having something wrong. I mean, the fact that it's all into this computer system, at least in our experience, has been super efficient. And I was already having an unpleasant day. So to be able to go across the street and get what I needed within seconds was just great because then I could go home and like sleep off all the things that had just happened to me. And that felt like just the coordination digitally, the understanding everything about me and having it all universally connected somewhere just created a much simpler, seamless situation.
It was kind of a calming situation.
Dealing with insurance companies and all the paperwork and all that stuff is pretty stressful on top of whatever you're having done. So I have to say that the digital nature of going through that experience was pretty profound. And I immediately wrote something on my Facebook wall, basically going through everything. And friends were like, what? Yeah. What? It was like that easy?
3 steps. Yeah. And I think one of the things, because you mentioned picking up a prescription, that is actually one of the things that is really different here. Because if you have a prescription for something, so I'm an asthmatic, so if I have problems, I have a prescription for an inhaler. I can go to any pharmacy across Denmark, anywhere, any commune, anytime, and get my prescription filled. You cannot do that in the US. You have to it's like assigned to the pharmacy where you picked it up at. And then if you want to pick it up someplace else, you have to call and get them to transfer it. And sometimes you have to call the doctor and have the doctor call it in to a different pharmacy. And it's such a pain. And here it's just, if I'm just out anywhere and I'm like, oh, I've got to pick that up, I can go to any pharmacy and pick up my prescription because it's in the system.
Yeah. And you have access to maybe not the prescription piece, but your records are all available all the time. Yeah. And so, we only have a couple years worth of history. I've only been to the doctor a couple times, but if you were born here, you'd have basically your entire medical records you could look at to see, if you've got an issue with cholesterol. You can see yourself over time, how it's going, because all those blood tests, everything is all available to you there. And it's pretty neat to be able to see that easily and not have to worry, because if you move around like we did, we moved from DC to Chicago and changed doctors and all that stuff. We had to bring paperwork with us and all those different things that you wouldn't have to worry about if you moved here, or if something happened to you in another part of Denmark, you knew that everybody could easily get access just from your yellow card, everything they needed to know about your history, blood tests, whatever you have happened to have done, it's all right there.
Yeah. And that's, we actually do use that. One of the rather unusual things about living in Scandinavia is that you can end up having really low vitamin D, which has a whole lot of different symptoms. And so it's really nice to be able to it's a website called Sundhed. And you just log in with your CPR number and you can go and see all of those lab results and see, if you have blood tests taken recently, it's easy to see if you're low on something, if there's something that you want to talk to the doctor about, anything.
And there's an app, because I'm sure people will say there is an app. We know there's an app, and we've used the app too. And it's all through your NemID, by the way. It's how you log in and see this stuff.
Yeah. And I do want to just add that one of the other things that's quite different, maybe they're switching over to it in the US now, but in terms of contacting your doctor, most doctors have websites for their doctor's office, and you actually email them ahead of time for like a consultation through the website and tell them, what symptoms you're having, how you're feeling, if there's something that you're concerned about. And they can oftentimes just handle stuff through email and make a determination as to whether or not you even need to come in, because sometimes you just don't need to. Sometimes you just have a question and you want to reach out to your doctor, and there's great, access for most doctors to be able to do an e-consultation.
Well, yeah, we've been gone for a couple of years. My guess is with Corona, Corona, there's been more and more kind of digital
I'm sure
consultations in the U.S.
But
as
that
well.
seemed to be established when we came here in pre-Corona times.
And speaking of Corona, that's actually one thing that makes this whole digital thing a little bit better or simpler is, obviously we get tested 1 to 2 times a week because of all the things we're doing with work and
sometimes
going out
3.
to shoot things for video. We always get tested. And the fact that, that stuff is immediately, the test is available in the app that we can take and quickly and easily show when we go to a restaurant or wherever is just amazing. And I have friends in the U.S. that have been vaccinated and they said the first thing they did, they went and got their card, laminated and set so that it doesn't get all messed up over time, as all the times they have to pull it out and show this card instead of being able to easily just get to something that's trusted. And also there's, issues I've read about, even about like people trying to forge these cards places because it seems like that might not be that difficult to do. And the fact that in Denmark, it's all tied to this app. Yeah. And it's all there and available in your health records, which is also proof that you've been vaccinated and that you've had tests that everybody knows and trusts. So that trust piece of Danish society is sitting within this whole concept of the data being available and also what you use in order to make sure that you can show, certainly today, where 3 years ago you wouldn't be pulling out the app to show stuff all the time, but now you basically have to everywhere you go, and you need to make sure that
we're constantly pulling our phones out and pulling up our most recent
3 or 4 times today, and we got tested today,
and
then 3 or 4 times of showing it today. And that's like most days when we're not at home, because if you can't tell, we're actually not at home right now. Okay, so this was just a little thing. What we're probably going to do is follow up on each of these a little bit more in more detail based on comments and things people say. We're just touching on it some because it's very different than what we're used to at home. And it's very common, I'm sure, for Danes who have had this kind of digital health story for quite a while. But it's fascinating to us because it's new.
It's all new. Like that whole Sundhed website is just like, for medical stuff, it's like a kid in a candy store. You can see absolutely everything at all times. So
yeah. Okay. Well, we wanted to go through this whole thing before we got to Trot on Tuesday.
Yes.
And now we have a very special Trot on Tuesday. So this is what happened. So we were not paid for this as sponsors or anything. But Bertels Salon contacted us and asked if we wanted to eat some cheesecake. And I love cheesecake.
Who's
so we thought
say no to that?
We thought it'd be neat to do something different, a little bit of an American stuff. But remember, this is not sponsored in any way. No. We just ate up some cheesecake, went out there, and that's this week's Try It On Tuesday. For this week's Try It On Tuesday, we have a cheesecake-sized experience that's a little different than our normal one. Bertels Salon reached out and asked if we wanted to eat some cheesecake, and I think it took me, I don't know.
That's not a hard,
What's the smallest amount of time measurement? Because that's how long it took me to decide to come and eat some cheesecake. Yeah. So I've never been here before.
No, this is the cutest place, you guys. Yeah. This is so hygge. It's just, I didn't even know this was here until they reached out. It's super cute.
And I love cheesecake, and I don't get it that often. No. So I'm very excited.
These look like a solid effort.
Yeah, and he told you which these were. This is lime.
Yep, so that's lime. This is rhubarb, Oreo, strawberry, and banana caramel.
Let's start with...
We have to go with the lime. And key lime is my favorite. It's so light and fluffy. I know, but I need another bite. Okay.
It is. This is very, very good cheesecake.
Oh, so good. It's nice and creamy. Okay, so this is the rhubarb.
This is good. I'm very excited about the Oreo one, though.
Yeah.
That's what my friends have told me about who have been here before.
Oh, I love that one, though. It's got nice big chunks of the rhubarb in it.
Oreo's next.
I know you love the Oreo.
You go ahead.
That's good.
Cheesecake is not really a Danish thing, but...
This is so good.
This is... it's there's this New York cheesecake, which is like this popular thing in New York and the U.S., and we'd get cheesecakes as a kid when we go to Jersey because it was close to New York. So we'd always get a cheesecake at least once a year from that. Yeah. And then we used to make that pumpkin cheesecake.
Yeah, you haven't made that in a long time.
No, it came from the Betty Crocker cookbook, the pumpkin cheesecake that I used to make. But I haven't had cheesecake. It's been a really long time. But it's just like this special thing that's so good.
The texture and everything. Go for the strawberry one. I can't wait.
Like, you don't even have to chew necessarily. It just kind of melts in your mouth as you go.
Oh my God, that is good. Oh, Oh, I like that one.
That's extremely good.
That's really good.
That could be the winner, though.
That might be the winner, I know.
The
banana one. Oh, I don't know. What's that? Like peanut butter on it.
This is a good combination.
Oh, that's different. So the owner came up and gave us these Lacquered ice cream bars, and we're going to try them. No.
Yeah, it starts good because it has a white chocolate outer shell,
Oh.
but then the inside, it just like, it contorts your tastes and feelings and...
I need a cleanser.
Yeah, I need some cheesecake to... I'm going to have one more bite, though, just to give it another try.
No, I'm not.
I don't know, my Danish candy tasting friends would absolutely love this, I think, but yeah, I need to, we'll have a little rhubarb to, oh
my God.
We thought it'd be
was
a fun, different way to do a Try It On Tuesday because people have also asked us about American foods to try.
Oh, this is very American.
This is, but it's got a little spin to it,
Yeah,
but it's
it
got an American feel to it, and it was really, really good.
So good.
It's a really cool building.
Yeah.
And it's
the
right in
downstairs
this central...
was an old apothecary, so it's pretty neat.
I'm going to stop recording this now, take some close-ups of this, and figure out how to eat more. But this was a very cool Try It On Tuesday.
So
Bertels
good.
Salon, very good cheesecake.
You have to come.
We were critical of that, so know that this. I honestly think this is fantastic, and I don't think that's fantastic. It's super good. All right, that's it for Try It On Tuesday. All right, that was so good. The problem is that was like a week and a half ago that we did that 2 weeks ago, and I really want cheesecake
I'm still
now.
thinking about the cheesecakes.
I had a little piece, and I may have had some for breakfast the next day.
No judgment.
I Googled and said cheesecake for breakfast, and people said, "Yeah, there's protein. It's fine. Go
dairy,
for it." Yeah.
There's fruit. There's
it's all good. So
whole grains in there.
Yeah, that was fantastic. It's definitely worth checking out.
Definitely.
So that was Tried On Tuesday, and now, as I mentioned earlier, we're actually not at home because right now, by the time you see this,
we will be
home. But at this very moment, we're in Sundhed.
Yes.
Based on some suggestions people had, and we're shooting some video here. Although that's not what's going to be this Friday.
No,
that's going to be a couple weeks, not months, weeks from now. This Friday is going to be when we went along the canals of Copenhagen. In one of the friendship boats, which was really cool.
Yeah,
so
and we got one of the most beautiful days.
It was the nicest day. We were there on Mother's Day, if you remember. It was just a beautiful day in Denmark. So sunny. Perfect.
And you got to see Josh's resulting sunburn.
Yes, the sunburn that you saw on another video that came from the day in the sun where I was not even wearing my hat. So I had no protection at all. Red everywhere, but it was so cool. So this Friday is going to be the canal tour around Copenhagen.
Yeah.
And the following Friday will be our trip to Sundhed.
Yeah.
A couple episodes will be from that.
Yeah, because we've done so many things and tried so many things. I'm so excited about all the food we've tried.
There's a special Try It On Tuesday from this trip that we will not disclose right now, but you will see on a future Tuesday video. But anyway, that is it for today. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yes.
As always, for sure.
Always.
Always. Lots of neat things coming up besides the things that we just said. We're actually planning more in advance because we're trying to do cooler things, more interesting things. Things are open and the summer's coming. So we got a lot of things coming up. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we shall see you later. Bye-bye.